As we reach the midpoint in the FIFA cycle, and FIFA 23 now only 6 months away, we're going to look into what we know so far. We'll be looking ahead to the next release and what has been leaked, and also some rumours that are floating about. Firstly, let's look at the name. Now, a year or so ago, we saw reports that FIFA and EA were not going to renew their license due to FIFA wanting too high fees. So a name change to EAFC looked likely to be on the cards. However, there are rumours that FIFA 23 will still be named FIFA 23, but it could be the last FIFA ever under that name. Now, EA's CEO Andrew Wilson has stated that EA's relationship with FIFA has been an impediment when it comes to growing the games and adding new features, and he has described it as being unable to introduce new brands like Nike because of FIFA's relationship with Adidas. So basically saying that once they're no longer partnered with FIFA, they'll be able to sort of get more licenses and be open to do more stuff. And player requested modes to play in different things beyond 11v11 are more likely going to be more possible now. So it could actually be a good thing for us. In terms of this year's release date, normally it's between the end of September and the start of October, comparing to the last few releases. Give Me Sport stated on their website they predict it to be Thursday the 22nd of September, but I reckon that would be the absolute earliest that they would release it, and it's more likely to be maybe a week after that. Now, something that has started happening with several games lately is crossplay, and crossplay could likely be introduced to FIFA 23. Industry insider and leaker Tom Henderson has stated that FIFA 23 will feature crossplay for the first time in the series' history, bringing FIFA players across the PlayStation, Xbox, and PC platforms together for all the title's game modes. Donk Trading has also made a tweet about it, and he's often known for leaking things. I think this crossplay being introduced will obviously benefit foot a lot more, creating more competitive fixtures and having one market between the two. Should be interesting. I don't play foot though, so it doesn't really affect me, but pro clubs will hopefully more games and like a fairer chance, I guess, so it should be good. Donk Trading has also stated that FIFA 23 will be free to play. Henderson, however, has sort of contradicted that and said there has been no indication from sources familiar with the project that FIFA 23 will be free to play. But I believe there's a reason for it to be free, which I will get on to later in this video. If it does become free to play, then it looks like there will be no Ultimate Team Edition, which completely makes sense, because if you're not paying for the game, then why would there be, stuff given to you for nothing, because you're not paying anymore? So that would be completely scrapped, and things like that would be implemented in the game differently. Now, one of the big things that could be introduced into FIFA 23 is online career mode, something that us fans have been asking for ages. If you remember last year, you may have seen a leak from the FIFA job website, which stated that they were looking for an online software engineer to help build our networked player development team, whether that be in our online career mode, Ultimate Team, or core online system and protocols. They quickly changed that job description once it was leaked, but obviously they were looking for it, and it was too close to the FIFA 22 series for them to implement that, but they've had a year now, so hopefully that can be introduced into FIFA 23. Something else to get excited about is the inclusion of the World Cup on FIFA 23. And for the first time ever, it will include both the men's and women's World Cup. And if I'm correct, it would be the first time that the women's is on there full stop. Obviously, the women's World Cup is in June, July next year, so the FIFA 23 will be the current cycle when that occurs. So that has been rumoured to be included in the game, with the World Cup taking place in my home country, New Zealand, and Australia. So that would be good. And then the men's World Cup would normally be on FIFA 22, as with the 2018 World Cup was on FIFA 18, and the 2014 World Cup was on FIFA 14. But as the World Cup is in November, December this year, FIFA 23 would be the current cycle that goes through that time period, so it has been delayed, but it has been leaked that those two tournaments will both be on the game, so that's exciting for us. I just hope that it's to the quality of the old games like 2014, because 2018, in my opinion, was a bit of a letdown. Now, the final thing I want to talk to you guys about is the UFL. UFL, which some of you may know and have seen about, is a game that has been released by Strikers Inc., which UFL stands for Ultimate Football League. There'll be a new online football game that is free to play and, as they say, fair to play. We've been told that it will be released in 2022, so this year, whenever it's ready, whatever that means. Basically, they don't really know yet. And I think this could affect FIFA in some serious ways. Firstly, if it's free to play, then FIFA may look at doing the same, as I mentioned earlier. And if it does become free to play, I do wonder at what point it becomes like PES turning to eFootball, where they just release an update every year, because if it's free, then there's no need for them to make a whole new game, and they can just basically create DLCs. Now, as you'll see from some of these clips, that the game does look quite chunky and not very smooth, so I don't think it will rival with FIFA just yet. And PES, or eFootball, seems to have sort of turned down, decreased in quality since they've made that change, so...
Great googly moogly, it's all gone to shit!
FIFA seems to be alright at the moment, and hopefully they'll be able to pick up more licenses now that they don't have their agreement with FIFA, but honestly, with EA, who knows what's going to happen. I think this will be an interesting year for EA, and it has potential to be a very good FIFA with new concepts and new game modes and things entered, but to be honest, it's EA, so we don't know what's going to happen. I assume Volta will still be there. Foot will be their main source and main focus as always, because that's their way to bring in money, especially if they're getting rid of free-to-play. Especially if they're making it free-to-play, then they will put a lot of focus in adding, basically, in-game money, which is largely in Foot, but I think they will insert that into pro clubs and career mode to make people pay for certain things, maybe traits or boots or appearances or whatever. I think a good way to do it would be to maybe pay for an in-game editor. Don't think they'll do that, but obviously you can use it on the PC if you've got a PC, but they really should add that into the other console modes, but yeah, who knows. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on what they could add to FIFA 23, what you think of the leak so far, and whether they will implement some of these modes or some of these features. And also, if you know much about UFL, then let me know your thoughts on that and whether it will compete with FIFA, or even if PES will, but who knows. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.